How's it going, guys? It's Nathan from Nathan's DIY Garage, and today we're trying to get the CV axle out of the rear of this E46. So this is where we're at with it. This is 99 323i. I've never actually seen one of these get stuck before that's in our area. Up north, yeah, that's pretty common. But this is where we're at with it. The bearing is totally shot, right? So we've known this for a while, just now got time to work on it. Somebody's already beat on this with a hammer, so whenever I tapped it just a couple times, it mushroomed out the end of it just a little bit where the nut won't go on. Now there's no threads at the very end, it's just a blank. So I think what we're going to do is take the grinder and grind the very tip of it off, and we should be able to thread it back on. If not, we'll have to get a new shaft. That's not that big of a deal. I probably got one here, but it's still not loose. So we put these jaws on here. These things are kind of cheesy. It's starting to bend that. That's not going to work. We're going to have to go ahead and pull this back off. We're going to try possibly the bearing splitter. Put the bearing splitter behind here and then run the lug nuts in, right? And see if that'll actually run the hub off. But what I don't want to do, that's how you take it off when everything's good to go. I don't want to strip out my lug nut holes here. And I'm afraid that's what's going to happen. So I'm pretty leery of doing that. I don't want to cause a bigger issue. The worst case, we're going to have to pull the spindle off and take everything to somebody that has a press and get it put in a press basically and get it knocked off of here. Okay, so we just tried this. We ran the bearing separator behind it, ran the lug nuts in, so it pushed out. Then on the bottom, it just fell out. When we had good pressure or tension on it, then we took the jaws. Then we can see how bent that is. Then we ran it down, even hit this with a hammer, trying to break it loose, and nothing. You can see back in here, it hasn't moved in the least bit whatsoever. That's how much space it had. A lot of guys use the bearing pullers on these, but they have a bigger one than I have here, and they go in here and tighten up the bolts on top of the bearing puller, bearing separator, and then run the lug nuts down. It comes off. I don't think that's going to work on this no matter what. If it wasn't all seized in it, that would probably work. I think all you're going to do, and I got to watch out, my impact's probably strong enough to do it, you're probably just going to strip out these bolts here, and then you're going to be buying a new hub, which you might be buying a new hub already. Which, you know me, I won't buy a new hub. I'll get on Craigslist and try to find a whole parts car for a few $100. M54 parts and M52 TU parts are definitely handy to have around. So that's where we're at with the situation right now, guys. And also on the E53 X5, we have it up and running. The Loctite did work on the camshaft bolts. You can see what we did here. Everything's back together. The coolant and everything's not hooked up. We just want to be able to start it and let it run for a little bit and hit the gas a few times to make sure it wasn't going to back the nut off. It did not. So what we end up doing to fix this, the intake bolts, the bolts that go to the vanos, hold the cam on, those are supposed to be 81 or 82 foot-pounds, and the exhaust camshaft bolts are supposed to be 90 or 91. We just set them both at 90, about 91, 92 with a torque wrench, and I put red Loctite on the intake cam bolts. Now, I didn't want to put blue on it. We've had problems with blue before not holding the engine heat. I know red will. So what we're going to have to do, if we ever got to take this back apart, we're probably going to get a little propane torch and heat up the head of the bolt without getting the vanos hot just a little bit and back them out. So that's how it works, guys. You get one disaster fixed and try to do the simplest job. This is a pretty easy job if you have the right stuff, which we do. And you know, sometimes it just turns into a freaking nightmare. So basically, in other news, our 318, you can see right here, is still sitting here waiting to be picked up. And our Z3, the guy called me today and I don't know if I'd take $2,000 cash for it. And I was like, I guess, whatever, you know, it needs to get the hell out of here. And never called back, so I don't know. I guess I'll wait and see what happens. But anyway, that's what I've been doing the last few days. There's no videos up because basically until late last night there was no updates on anything. Everything I have apart now is a total total freaking nightmare, and it's hard to do videos on that kind of stuff. But that's it, guys. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you tomorrow.